What are some of your emotions just knowing you're going to get this thing on the go?
I mean, of course, the number one is excitement. Just it's a whole new year. Such a great group of guys ready to show what we're all about. And I mean, I feel like everybody would be lying if there wasn't a tad bit of nerves too. It's kind of goes without saying. It's just a perfect opportunity for us, and excited, and nervous, but those are all good energies I can channel in the right way.
Making the playoffs last year, is that changing any of your approach or any of the feelings to start this season?
No, I mean I think that allows you to get comfortable that you accomplished something last year, but that's just not what we're all about in this room. It's kind of what this messaging has been is the I guess we're raising the bar and standards and expectations for ourselves. So I mean, of course, great experience and some of my favorite hockey memories that it's not about just getting back, it's about doing more with that.
When you
Do you
look
get a sense that you can grow and mature after a season like that in the off season?
100%. I think we've shown that already with our preparation and the way we've came into camp and the way we're just our mindset's totally different now. So I think I mean there's so many areas in our game individually and collectively that we can grow in, and applying our mindset that we have I think is going to be number one and kind of number one that we're expecting of ourselves for.
looking around the room and seeing the guys that are now on your roster, what do you want the identity to be of the team, or maybe an evolution of the identity last year?
I think it's just be the most resilient team in the NHL, and whether you're up, you're down, especially when you're down one, down two, that you're never out of it, you're never out of the fight, never out of the game, and you just go to the full 60 minutes. So I mean, of course, every team preaches consistency, and I think we showed that a lot last year with how consistent we are. But I think number one thing that I think we're going to pride ourselves on is just being a resilient group.
How do you want to maybe improve as a player this season? Like, is there any personal goals or anything that you want to kind of get better at?
Honestly, I haven't really set any personal goals for myself. I think there's just one goal in mind for everybody in this room, and that's the Stanley Cup. So I think for my game, it's just creating to get better, or continuing to get better every single day, and I guess tighten up the weaknesses that I've worked on a lot this summer. That show that those weaknesses become strength.
How much all the emotions of last season consume what prepare fatherhood, formations, and playoffs and all that?
I mean, there's definitely a lot going on last year. There's going to be a lot going on this year too. So I think the number one thing that helped me out it was just my family, and I realized that after you have a bad game, you're still a father and a husband when you get home. So allows to move on quicker, and after a good game too, it's about moving on and focus on the next one.
I don't know if we're going to get the chance to speak with you before your home opener here, but the last time you were on the ice here, it was pretty emotional with the standing ovation despite losing. We thought about what it's going to be like to play in front of this crowd again.
I mean, it's so special. I mean, it's to have our season end like that and get the ovation that our team got it. I said it was one of the most emotional, special moments of my life. It was such an overwhelming support that I felt, and I just can't wait to be back playing in front of them come Monday.
Would you like to send them a message? Like, if you had a message to send the fans right now for the game on Monday for this season, what would it be?
Put me on the spot here. Well, I think just thank you for all the support that you guys have shown us over this years, and last year was super special. And it's going to take everybody. It's going to take everybody in the city, everybody in this building to get us where we want to go. So it's going to be a fun ride, and buckle up.
Do you have any plans to see Matthew when you're in Florida? Or?
Yeah, that's Friday. I'm gonna, spend, we have practice, but spend the day with him and just get to see him, spend some time. It doesn't happen too often, so I don't know what we have planned, but definitely, mark that down as hang out with him all afternoon.
Is it a bit different when he's not playing, just kind of hanging out together? Or?
I mean, I don't think. I mean, the last time our teams played, we both weren't playing, so that was a weird one. We were watching a game together, but yeah, it's going to be weird. I don't think we've had a game where I was playing and he was, and vice versa. So, but at the end of the day, it's a divisional opponent and two massive points on the line.
How you doing, Drake? Everything good? And can you give us an update on health?
Yeah, feeling a lot better over the last few days, and it felt nice to get back on the ice with the guys. I think that's what you miss the most, and yeah, we'll just take it day by day going forward. I don't think tomorrow's a possibility, but possibly Saturday or home opener.
How shocking was it to go down in training camp? Like, how disappointing, and what happened?
It was weird, yeah. I mean, nothing too crazy. I was just skating, and yeah, it didn't feel good after, and yeah, I got an MRI, and something was wrong. So, but feeling a lot better, like I said, and excited to get back out there. Hate watching, but it's nice to be around the team.
So you're not sure if you'll play tomorrow, but you might play on Saturday. What would be some of the emotions just to get this season going, given how you guys finished last year?
Yeah, no, really exciting. Obviously, even watching the games last night, I was excited to go home and watch. So definitely not playing tomorrow and watching is going to be brutal, but being there supporting the guys, everyone's super excited for the season. So yeah, just excited to get it going, get on the road, and have dinners with the guys and hang out. It's going to be real exciting.
Everyone talks about this group, Drake, taking the next step. What is the next step for this group?
Yeah, I mean, obviously last year took a big step in making it to the playoffs, and you know it's the same recipe. You want to make the playoffs, but at the end of the day, you want to win. So, I mean, it's a hard road to get to the playoffs, and then when you get in there, it's even harder to win. So, everyone's really hungry. I think last year making it to the playoffs, gaining that experience, each guy, bringing that into this year, kind of having a recipe of what we got to do, and you know, there's a lot of hard work that's got to go into it, but we're excited for the challenge.
How do you want to improve as a player this season compared to last year?
Yeah, I think just probably be more consistent. I think from game 1 to 82. Obviously, you know, my job's to produce and help the team win and be a consistent player at both ends of the ice. So just always looking to focus on that. But I think consistency and do whatever I can to, you know, help our team win games and get us into the playoffs.
How do you think maybe last year, just for you individually, but also like the core of young guys getting to the playoffs, how do you think that'll help you guys into this year having that experience?
Yeah, I think the coaching staff did a great job with all the young guys just better at both ends of the ice. Obviously, some guys had some great years last year, Sandy and Shabby on the back end, as well as a few guys up front. So I think building off last year, guys are confident and guys worked hard in the summer. Each and every one of us at their game, and you know, I think some guys are in for some big years.
How often have you thought back to the playoffs in the summer and had it motivate your playing and just how you want to play the game this year?
Yeah, no, I think definitely in the first week or two, once you're out of playoffs, it fuels you to get back there even more and you know, win a round, win 2 rounds, whatever it is. So I think this year I had a harder time watching, I think, than years past when you're out of the playoffs. But yeah, definitely motivating. I mean, as soon as you get bounced out, it's not a good feeling, and you want to get back there and chase that Stanley Cup again. So we're excited to get to work and do it again.
Also, with your sister winning the PWHL championship, did you get a bit of taste of like what it would be like to have a hometown Stanley Cup parade?
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, we flew up day of the game to Minnesota, and they were able to win in overtime. I was pumped we would have to fly back here from Minnesota. So no, it was great. She brought the cup home. She had it for like 3 or 4 days. Which was awesome, and had a big party at my lake house for her, and I was super jealous, I'll say that for sure.
Thank you so much.
How many times you've been through this, but I'm guessing that the level of excitement doesn't change.
It definitely doesn't. I mean, you get a little nervous. You know, you've trained a long time for the season to start, and a lot of excitement, that's for sure.
What kind of a step forward have you noticed with this team mentally, given that a lot of players who had never made the playoffs have made that step now?
Well, I think we're just kind of realizing. We realized last year how we want to play to be able to be successful, and when we started doing that, maybe halfway through the season, we started putting ourselves in a better position in the standings, and we started winning more hockey games. So when you realize what it takes to win enough to make the playoffs, you know the recipe, and you know we're excited to do the same this year.
How can you improve as a player at this stage of your career heading into this season?
Yeah, it's the same thing. You got to keep putting the work in, Could be on the ice, could be in the gym, could be at home. Whatever you do, you just thinking about the game a lot, and when it's time, and it's good to take off your mind off of it too. So I got my boys to do that for me, and but every year you're trying to get better. You're trying to find ways to help the team, whatever your role is. You have to embrace that role and make sure you do it at the best abilities you can.
Based on what you saw last year from the Hockey Club, can a team grow and mature in the offseason?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you get a summer when you're younger. A summer can be huge for you. You can get a little stronger. It could be a little faster. It could be you find something that works good for your body and recovery, or it could be anything, and it might be able to let you take that step. So, but saying that's the same thing for all the other teams, right? So for us, it's we feel good. We feel like we had a pretty good camp, and we're excited to get going.
Claude, how do you like playing with that Pinto and Greg? I know you've played with them a little bit in the past.
No, it's great. I mean, they're two young players. They play a mature game. They play hard, and defensively, offensively, we all take face-offs. We haven't played a game together yet, but hopefully we can get that chemistry going as quick as possible.
Peux-tu nous décrire le niveau d'excitation du club personnellement la veille de cette nouvelle saison?
Oui, c'est toujours excitant. Tu passes tout l'été à t'entraîner, faire sûr que tu es prêt pour la saison. Puis quand c'est le temps de commencer, c'est sûr, c'est excitant. Il faut que tu gardes tes émotions. Puis tout le monde dans l'équipe, on est pas mal excité.
Ça fait déjà un bout que tu es ici. As-tu noté un autre niveau de maturité de ce groupe-là comparativement aux années précédentes?
C'est facile à dire pendant le camp, mais c'est quand la saison commence, c'est là que tu vas voir si les gars ont pris un step ou si en équipe on a pris un step. Puis pendant le camp, c'est facile d'être heureux puis de jouer de la bonne façon, mais quand la game commence, c'est sûr qu'il faut que tu sois capable de garder, faut que tu restes calme puis pouvoir jouer ta game.
Comment tu analyses tes chances, puis en tant que groupe, encore une fois, dans la course en Atlantique? Une rare fois, on semble pas avoir un cornerback numéro 1. Sens-tu que c'est un victoire pour le premier rang, en fait, pour la pause?
C'est pas vraiment quelque chose qu'on se focus dessus. Il y a beaucoup de bonnes équipes dans l'Atlantique, puis on sait ça. Mais pour nous, c'est juste focus sur notre équipe, puis le reste, on n'a pas besoin de s'en occuper. Il faut aller un match à la fois, puis continuer à s'améliorer à chaque pratique, à chaque match, puis c'est là qu'on va se donner une meilleure chance.
Vois-tu ton rôle changer avec Shane et Ridley sur cette ligne-là? Tu n'as pas eu la chance de jouer avec eux pendant le camp, comparativement à ton rôle sur une ligne avec Staios et Brady? Oui,
peut-être. Ça, c'est quelque chose que à chaque année, ça peut changer. Puis après 10 games, ça peut peut-être changer encore. Pendant une saison, il y a beaucoup de choses qui se passent. Il peut y avoir des blessés, il peut y avoir tu changes une ligue, puis une ligue commence à cliquer. Il y a beaucoup de choses qui arrivent pendant une saison. C'est pas quelque chose que je vais jouer avec Pinto puis Ridley pendant 82 matchs. C'est juste pas le même que ça marche. Pour moi, c'est d'essayer de trouver une connexion avec les deux gars-là, puis essayer d'avoir une chimie que les trois, on peut s'aider.
Justement, on a beaucoup parlé de se focusser sur votre équipe. Qu'est-ce que tu vois dans cette équipe-là que tu aimes cette année, avec la maturité prise, avec la run de l'an dernier pour être compétitif cette année?
Oui, mais je pense qu'on a pas mal la même équipe. Puis pour nous autres, c'est quand on a gagné les matchs, on sait c'est quoi qu'on a fait, puis on sait quoi qu'on a à faire. C'est pas vraiment, c'est pas rien de nouveau pour nous autres. C'est de pouvoir pogner le prochain step, puis de pouvoir être plus conscient à qu'est-ce qu'on veut faire.
So Claude, you took a bit of a hometown discount with Connor McDavid taking the $12.5 million. Do you think there's a message being sent to people in the league, just like how much you want to win and your willingness to kind of take less so that the team can be better? What do you think is being said about that right now?
Yeah, it's not a secret that everybody thinks that he should be the highest paid player in the league. He's one of the best that's ever played. So to see him do that, I'm sure there's a lot of Edmonton people, fans that are pretty excited about that.
Coach, how are you looking injury-wise? Update on Drake and Tyler?
Not much of an update, except for what you saw. obviously both in practice, getting closer. We'll see how they progress.
Both make the trip?
I'll talk to the trainers, medical staff after, talk to you guys.
Where's your level of excitement going into this
High.
new season?
Yeah, I think coaches are no different than players. Training camp can definitely feel like it gets to be a little bit of a grind near the end. Be a lot different next year. But players are excited, coaches are excited to get going.
That's it.
No. What if these last couple of days with the team just whittled down to what you're actually going to be seeing with your roster? What have they done for just preparation for this first couple games?
Yeah, it's been good, to be honest. I mean, we had a day off Sunday. We had a hard practice Monday. We're worked on a lot of our team game, some structure things that take a little bit of time, quite honestly. Another good off-ice day yesterday with our group where a lot of them got some work done. And today was high-paced practice, so it's it was nice to just, I think, have the 4 days and reset and get ready for the start of the year.
For the chemistry of the team to start the season on a road trip?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too worried about that. This group's been together a fair amount already. Obviously, we have a few new faces. We went to Quebec, but it's just a business trip now.
What does a guy like Barzell kind of bring to the fold for you as a coach? That a guy can PK in the fourth line?
It's a little early, but I thought he looked really strong in Montreal. Veteran guy, understands the game, has won, checks all the boxes, can play a lot of different roles. Good person, good teammate. Happy to have him.
Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off. How do you like? How have you liked Michael Amadio's training camp in preseason?
It's been good, very good. You can tell he put a lot of work in the summer. He's been one of our players and our better players in training camp.
Travis, we asked you so many times about updates on Nick Jensen throughout training camp, and just given the surgery he went through, the question marks, how incredible is it to see him starting in this first game?
Yeah, it's surprising. I think if you were going to pick a guy that would probably make a quicker comeback, he'd be at the top of your list. He's an extremely hard worker, very focused individual. Loves playing, loves competing. Those guys usually train extremely hard and will do whatever it takes to get back as soon as they can, and he's obviously put in a lot of hard work.
How mindful are his minutes just early on in the season, just coming off the injury?
Mindful.
Big picture, you're starting, you guys have a target on your backs this year just because you made the playoffs. Do you feel that way?
I don't know if target is the right word. I think we got some respect last year. I think, we're building toward having a target. I think to have a target on your back, you got to prove that you're a contender for a Stanley Cup, and ultimately that's what we want to be.
Do you envision?
Sorry.
Go ahead.
In that camp, did you see some change of mentality in some players because you made the playoff last year?
I think we have a focused group that isn't resting on what they've done in the past. It's not easy to make the playoffs. If you make it one year, there's no guarantee that you're making it the next year. I think our group understands that. We're also building our game. We're not just satisfied. It's not our goal to just make the playoffs.
Do you envision Matt and Paul and Sabrango starting tomorrow night together?
Potentially.
What do you like about Sabrango?
He's improved. He's still a young defenseman. Got more opportunity with Claude being hurt. Physical, tough guy, but I think his skating and skills a little. People don't talk about it, but I think he's worked on his game a lot. Has looked comfortable in the games. So.
Sorry, Coach, what's your thought on the competitiveness of your division this year? For a rare time, it doesn't seem to be a clear number one. Makes it competitive, one of the most competitive that you see.
Yeah, it's no secret. It's a competitive division. I don't worry about it. I don't overthink it. It's a good division. We're going to have to play good. No more nor less. It's competitive hockey every night in the NHL, but definitely we play in a strong division. Okay, guys.
What are you left with after a 3-3 record in preseason?
Oh, I mean, preseason is always a bit of a moving target, trying to match lineups and get young guys in there to play. So I think overall I'm pleased with our training camp. I think it was very well noted that our players came in great shape, and they're a motivated group. And the individuals, younger guys, older guys, they all took it upon themselves to improve in the off season, improve their game and improve their fitness. So that's always a good sign.
You were left with some difficult decisions, I assume, as far as reassignments are concerned. Carter Yakimchuk, what went into that decision to send him to Ball?
Well, Carter, I mean, specifically to his play and what his commitment, he's taken a big step forward in the right direction. We were very pleased with certainly his off-ice conditioning and strength as a young player, took a big step in the right direction, and his game is really starting to round into form. Now, I mean, circumstances is that we have some depth on defense here. And if that were different, could he come up and play? Yes, I do believe that. Always mindful of these young players, these high-end talented players, what is the right timing? I think Carter will tell us, and we feel comfortable about him being in Belleville and in that environment to continue to grow his game.
Steve, you did. In regards to the depth on defense, what did Donovan Sabrango do just to impress?
Oh, he's continued to evolve as a player. I think certainly for me, I think his skating has taken another step in the right direction. He's always been a competitive kid. I've known him. I've watched him play for a long time through junior, and watched. He's got underlying ability he's starting to scratch the surface on that at the pro level now. But fully committed player, obviously brings an element of toughness to our team as well. He's competitive and continues to get better.
Steve, you didn't make any changes. How much of the growth has to come from within for this group to have success?
Well, I did make some changes, Bruce.
Not many,
not many, yes. But, I mean, I think I've heard that narrative a lot, and I think that to look back on it honestly, from the day that I was here to now, we only have 8 remaining players from that roster. So it's been a slow build with this group in and around the core. The internal growth we've talked about, I promised I wasn't going to use that word again, but I did. But certainly there's room for our players to continue to get better. And again, not just our core group of players, but also any returning player that's coming back. So I think the changes come in at different times, and I'm not a big fan of forcing anything onto this group. I think that the trade deadline last year was an opportunity for us to add to this group. Deadline before that, there wasn't an opportunity. So this offseason, we feel comfortable with the additions of Lars Eller and Jordan Spence. Certainly, we feel like those players are going to bring a much-needed element to our group as well. So I think it's a long-winded answer to your question, but I do think that there's been a lot of growth with this group, both internally and through acquisition.
With regards to team toughness, can you tell us about the decision to bring in Curtis McDermott?
Again, timing for me is, I think everybody would point that, well, maybe certain incidents that have happened, but I'd been in the market for a player like this for a while. It just so happened that the timing of it was that I was able to make a trade to acquire him. But certainly, I mean, I think, he's a guy who brings that element to the game and also confidence to our group. And I don't think that, for me, I've never questioned the courage of our group or our team toughness. I think it's wrong to do that. I think we're a tough team. I think we're a hard team to play against. Are they learning in that regard? That's a growth phase for our group as well, to be able to manage those situations. But I would never question the courage of our group, never.
Is part of it, though, to take a bit of the pressure off a player like Brady?
I think pressure off of all of our players. He brings that dimension to our team. And so I think it's hard to quantify that, but I think we all feel very good about having him on our team.
What would make this season a successful season for the Ottawa?
Well, I mean, we want to push for the ultimate success with our group. how that works and timing of it. I think the approach that we took last year was an important one for this group. It was a win the day mentality and mindset that Travis and the coaching staff continued to preach to our group. And I think what that did was help them through when things weren't going our way, to not think, oh, here we go again, and all the bad things that had happened to, some of those players in their time with Ottawa. So it kept us in the moment, and I want to believe that that'll help us with expectations now. So it's on the other side of it. And I think if we can continue to stay focused on the day-to-day, it's certainly a tight group. And they know they have a lot of support in and around them. And we'll be there to continue to support that messaging. But it's on the day-to-day. I just think that there's great potential for this group.
When it comes to goaltending depth, how much did Levi Merilainen's performance last year put some confidence in you this year that he could be the second guy?
Plenty, for sure. The way that he had handled himself in his starts last year led us to believe that, and we do believe that he's more than capable of coming in and continuing to develop as a goaltender. Also, Mads Søgaard took a step in the right direction. He had some injuries that he dealt with last year, and certainly he came in very fit and confident as well. So goaltending depth, I think if you ask the other 31 general managers, you're always, it is that one position, and we feel comfortable with the depth that we have.
How does the rising cap affect negotiations with Shane Pinto? How does that kind of come into play?
I won't get into that, really. I think each contract is its own individual one. As you've seen, there was a big one that came down the other day that was certainly been a topic of conversation. So I won't speak to that, but certainly ongoing dialogue and positive dialogue on Shane.
How does, maybe just as a broader question, the rising cap and guys making more money, how is that informed your calculus moving forward with this team?
I think time will tell. I think that we feel like we're in a decent position in that regard with our players locked up. Obviously, things are evolving, but I think we'll cross our bridge when we get there.
What did training camp do also to open your eyes to maybe the depth this organization has with some of the guys you had to send down to Belleville?
I believe we have different depth this time around. I think the players that you saw that went down maybe have a little bit more of a skill set. Certainly, I think there was a great competition right to the last day of camp, and that's what you want to see. So the players that are in Belleville have certainly put their best foot forward and confidence for not only myself but for Travis to be able to feel confident bringing them up and playing them in the games.
You had two players return to the lineup on Saturday. How encouraged were you by the play of Nick Jensen and Clark Sauer?
Incredibly impressed on both regards, especially I think even more so with Nick because of they both went through off-season surgery, but Nick's was one that certainly we expected to take a little bit more time than it did. But both of them are true pros, and I think going back to it, when you look at trying to acquire players like that, you get that type of result. You get somebody who's going into the offseason with an injury and coming back better than they were the year before.
Do you have some updates on Drake Batherson and Tyler Clevin?
Both skating today. I think I wouldn't suspect that they'd be out for long periods of time. Probably the best I could say, but we'll see how they do after the skate today.
Do they have timelines then, or?
No. I think Drake will be sooner than Tyler, but no real timeline right now.
Do you expect any of them to play on opening night?
Possibly.
Opening night being like Monday or tomorrow?
Possibly on both of those.
Is it important to you to keep a couple millions under the cap for flexibility standpoint?
Yeah, certainly it was. I think I've talked about it before, but the situation when I first arrived was much different than it is now. And we do have some flexibility. We feel like it's try and get that flexibility with also trying to improve the team along the way. You can get that flexibility easily if you detract from the team. And we feel like we've done a good job of being able to improve the team slowly through acquisition. As I said, it's been 2 years, but there's only eight players that were the same when I got here. So it's been a bit of a slow roll that way, but in the meantime, we certainly kept our eye on cap flexibility.
excel on waivers, he cleared. He's up with the team. You didn't do that with Donovan Sabrango. Is there any concern about him not being able to clear? Obviously, with Cleveland's injuries here, but will you keep him around as an eighth defenseman?
Possibly, yeah. That was us getting down to our roster numbers and what we needed to do to submit for day one.